But I'm just going to be honest with you guys, it took freaking forever to get this thing here because these are all custom made. So I really like what he did with the form factor and also with the quality paint, but that's of course my personal opinion and my personal taste. I think this thing looks way better than the previous model I owned, and he did some nice modifications to it. So underneath the Neo Geo logo you can see there is a piece of acrylic. I really like this because of course nothing can fall in and it looks kind of cool. Things like that I can really appreciate. Okay, so at the front we're going to get two connections and also the Neo Geo logo. I really like it. So we're going to get the option to use the original Neo Geo AES and CD controllers. Yeah, you're putting it in, you can see that it moves a little bit. You need to be very gentle with this. So that is something I didn't like, and to be honest, that sounds maybe a little bit picky. But okay, we're having three options when it comes to the controllers. We're having the original AES controller, the Neo Geo CD Arcade, and we're having the Neo Geo controller. And I did, by the way, a separate review about that one because it's one of my favorite controllers ever. Okay, so the first one is the Neo Geo Arcade joystick. Yeah, it is a really weird looking joystick to be honest, and as you can see over here, the Neo Geo is a little bit faded out due of all the years that I have been used. It has the famous ball crack. That is something that you will see all the time with these things. The joystick, I love it. Okay, so the buttons and the angle how you play it, of course with the original layout from Neo Geo. I could say the buttons feel kind of weird to be honest because I'm used to the arcade buttons, but it plays very nice. So the next controller, yeah, that's basically my less favorite controller. The duo of the joystick feels kind of loose. I'm not a big fan of it. Yeah, and the buttons, they feel okay, but they are quite a long travel. So when you're playing with it, I can say that the controller plays just like a real cool, good Neo Geo controller. But in the end, it's my less favorite of the three. If you're not really like the arcade sticks, I think the Neo Geo CD controller is something you really need to have. It's a completely different experience, something you don't have nowadays with new controllers. It's just a very nice stylish controller, but I think it's very comfortable, and the joystick, or better said, there is no D-pad. The D-pad is basically a mini joystick, there is no shoulder buttons, but I really love the controller what it is. I also did a separate review about this controller because, yeah, I'm just going to be honest, I'm a big fan of this controller. I use this thing a lot because I don't always be in the mood of using a mini arcade joystick. Just get yourself a joystick. But alright, so let's take a closer look at the system itself, and to begin with the paint job. So at the distance it looks not bad at all, don't you think so? And maybe I'm a little bit too anal about this, but when you're looking at the, yeah, let's say the paint job, I was not very happy with it. So especially when you're looking over here, you can see that the paint job is not that nice. But okay, I forgive him for this. So let's take another part of the casing. You can see at the back that it is not covering at all. The paint job is just a little bit disappointing to be honest. And even though we're going to repaint old plastic, there needs to be a way to make it perfect. So the bottom part is 3D printed, and yeah, combined with the other kind of plastic they are using, it looks kind of weird in my opinion. But yeah, I think that is the only way that he could do it. Some parts of the 3D printed case were a little bit thin of materials, and you can see that here there was nothing wrong. There is, yeah, you can bend it a little bit, but on the other side you can see there is, oh man, if you're going to bash it too hard, I'm afraid I'm going to break this. So there's a little bit of a bummer in my opinion. So on this side we're going to get the dip switches that we can use for the system itself. They're not super easy to reach, but we can reach them. Yeah, okay, wait, need another finger for it. Yeah. On this side we're going to get the on and off switch, and we're also going to get the input for the power supply. I did notice with the power supply, man, you need to press it on really hard, and if you don't push it too deep, it will not make any connection. I did like the power supply that he gave me. This is a 5V 4 amp power supply. It feels also quite heavy, so I'm very happy to see that we're going to get the basic European power supply. Of course, if you're living in a different region, get yourself, of course, with a different connection. Okay, on this side we're going to get the battery. He also replaced the holder, so if the backup battery is going to die, you can just replace them very easily. Alright, so here we're going to get the HDMI output, audio out, coaxial, SCART HD connection. The fun fact is this is just a basic upscaler that I have reviewed on my channel. A little bit of a bummer by the way about this part. See, this is what I call finishing touch. Okay, the other thing is with this upscaler. So this thing has been upgraded with a new GPU that runs up to 300 MHz. And this is not our typical, let's say, Neo Geo anymore. This Neo Geo comes with an UniBIOS 4.0, With my previous model I had an other version, a custom made scanline generator, sync cleaner and other new things. By the way, I do like his soldering. To be honest, I don't have the skills to solder like that, but as you can see, it's quite a work to make a mainboard from an MVS arcade machine into a game console. I just want to show you how he made the HD video converter from a SCART cable and did a rewiring, especially to the mainboard. As you can see over here, so we're going to get the signal from the mainboard. He also made another cable 3 over there to the scanline filter. Sadly, we can't change it out, so that's a little bit of a bummer. So if you want to switch it out or not, that is not possible. When you take a close look at the connector, the SCART connector goes in the upscaler. Holy crap, that's what we're going to call some soldering skills. Okay, so this is the single slot version, and there are also different versions out there. So if you have no idea what you're going to get with a Neo Geo, what it is and what you're going to get, so let's talk about the cartridge, the kind of mainboards and what you can do with it. So therefore I introduce my buddy Retro Ralph, who also has an original machine, but this one has multiple cartridges in them. So let's go to Retro Ralph.
Hey Wicked, thanks again for having me on. Let's take a closer look inside the Neo Geo. So with this Neo Geo, this is a 4-slot, but someone converted to a 2-slot. So as I pull the control panel down, you'll see all your buttons or joysticks are all right here. And it's using actually, in this particular one, it's using Suzo HAP sticks and actually Cherry micro switches. Some of these I've done and some of them were from the prior owner. But if you take a closer look inside it, you'll see this is actually only a 2-slot MVS system. So someone actually went and replaced the 4-slot with a 2-slot. That's okay, because most people are running multi-carts these days. So this multi-cart has 161 games on it. So it doesn't have the whole Neo Geo catalog, but it has quite a bit, and it kind of negates the reason to have a 4-slot anyway. So we'll see if I restore it to its original 4-slot in the future, but that's kind of what I wanted to show you. And I know you're going to showcase some various different Neo Geo technologies. There's consoleizers and all sorts of things that they've made for Neo Geo over the years. But like I said, there's still nothing that beats the original arcade cabinet. All right, Wicked, we'll see you next time.
Hey, so it's awesome that you're still tuned in. So let's talk about the cartridges, because these things are quite huge. So to begin with the first comparison, here we have a comparison between a Genesis cartridge and an MVS. Alright, next up, let's try a Super NES Famicom card, or Super Famicom. Okay, here we're having the NES cartridges, and here we're having the N64. Just give you more like an idea how big this MVS cartridge is. But nevertheless, the multi-game card is an option, but it is not perfect. So if you're a collector, it's a fun item to have to make it more convenient to play on your Neo Geo system. But in the end, it's not perfect and flawed in many ways. We'll make a separate review about this new version multi-card. But what I really like about this multi-game card, by the way, is that we're going to get this in a collectible box like a normal AES game. It is something more like an extra gimmick, but I think it's pretty cool. The casing itself, I love this green transparent colors. And yeah, so far I know there's only one color of this multi-game card, but again, we'll make a separate review about this. But I just wanted to give you a quick look. Okay, so enough chit-chatting about the hardware and what you all can do with it. So let's play some games. Okay, I need to point out that I put my television over 4:3 aspect ratio, what you can see over here. And on this display, I don't know what you think of this, but the scanline filter does not look bad at all. But okay, I think it's more like a personal taste. Okay, so I just want to do a quick gameplay for you guys, just to show you how it looks on the television, but also going to do in capture. Sadly, my Elgato will see the signal in 60:9 aspect ratio, so it will be in widescreen. Okay, so when looking at the screen itself, it looks quite nice, it looks vibrant, and I think it's a pretty cool way to play. Now we can play with the original hardware on an HDMI connection, but yeah, it's more like a personal taste. Some people really prefer to have a CRT with a full RGB signal. I was thinking, hey, just grab ourselves an HDMI that is specially modified with a special upscaled modified version. So this is not, let's say you're going to grab yourself a basic MVS mod version. We're going to grab ourselves a €30 upscaler and we're going to have the same results. No, this is more complex than that. Alright, same game, and let's do a real life capture from the device itself with the HD60 Elgato.
Ignition! 1, start!
I did notice this weird thing going on with the screen. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something that I've never seen before.
Heavy machine gun! Thank you! Thank you!
But if you are the person who really loves this tweaking, or cheating in this case, we can have infinite time, we can have infinite grenades, or you can just not die. Pretty cool, and to be honest, a fun way to play. So this was the review and overview of the Neo Geo from Italy, the ultimate version with the HDMI. Is it something for you? Is this the ultimate console for you? That is something you need to decide for yourself. Why? It's very simple. Not everybody wants to have an HDMI on your MVS game console. I wanted to have it because I want to have more, when I say the next level, I just want to have something different. And some people will say you need to play it on CRT television. Yeah, that is something that you need to decide for yourself. I'm happy with an LCD display or my television, so I'm very pleased to have this in my collection. Nevertheless, I want to thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become one of the Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.